And now, back to the Dr. A Show with your host, Dr. Will Aguila.
And welcome back to the show. We're speaking with the cooking channel celebrity chef Ingrid Hoffman. Her newest book is Latin D Lite, delicious Latin recipes with a healthy twist. Now, Ingrid, you keep in extraordinary shape, and you're also very beautiful. And there are some foods that you use in your recipes, and I'm wondering, are some of those foods that can actually keep you looking young and beautiful?
Well, I think that a happy person makes a beautiful person. And I think that it is about that inner satisfaction. It's about, also living a life with, little pleasures. And the reason why I will include a Coca-Cola rice recipe in a book that I call Healthy is because every chapter has a splurge recipe or a few. And, I think that life is also about balance. I think that we are so used to, in America, to obsess about everything. And I think that is what's killing us. People go on either the no carb or on the no sugar or on the no this or on the no that. And, all you are doing is setting yourself up for failure. And that's why, for me, I call Latin D Lite a lifestyle change. I allow my drinks when I plan for them, because then I know that I'm going to be even, better for, 3 days. I'm going to splurge on cocktails. If I'm
wait,
on Saturday night.
Let me explain to the listeners here, because you have some amazing drinks. I'm a longtime fan of your show, and your drinks are unbelievable. So tell me, of all those drinks, I mean, these are cocktails that you make. They're very low calorie, but they're wonderful. Tell me, which one are your favorites? Which ones are the favorite ones?
Well, I'm not so sure about the low calorie, but going back,
well, they look it.
I'd rather drink my calories sometimes. So I don't eat desserts. Okay. So for me, my drink is sometimes like, okay, instead of desserts, I'll have myself a drink or two or a few too many sometimes. But, for special occasions. I love my guava jalapeno margarita. I love there's a beer cocktail that is in Latin D Lite that probably is like one of my new kinks, favorite. And it is with blood orange sorbet scoop in it and tequila shot and lime and beer of your choice. So it's great for the summer, anywhere. It's great poolside. It's great for Cinco de Mayo. It's great for 4th of July. It's great for Sunday or Saturday on the boat or the beach or the pool. And so, I like being creative with my drinks also. So there's a lot of really easy cocktails in there, from taking a caipirinha and turning it into a caipirosca with some rum and, and doing creating twists like a pineapple melontini. At least if you put some fresh fruit in it, you feel that you're being healthy.
Absolutely. And they look spectacular, and I'm sure they taste awesome. Now, let me ask you something, Ingrid. Many people think of Latin foods as being spicy or too rich, but the fact is that Latin foods really run the gamut of flavors and textures. What do you say to somebody who's becoming acquainted with the Latin flavors?
Well, I think that people think of Latin food as spicy only because of Mexican food, but there's so many of our other Latin countries that do not use spice. I personally love it because I think it's a great way to flavor food. But I think that people have to, try what works for them. You can always add more if you want. I think that people should experiment with the Peruvian chiles, which are amazing, like the ají amarillo that now you're starting to see, especially if you're in Tampa. You should have all of these flavors. The supermarket in America has also changed so much. I remember back in the day when it used to be the ethnic aisle. And now, if you pay attention, the ethnic aisle has sort of outgrown itself, and our Latin foods are making it through many departments of the store, from cheeses to, everywhere. And I think that people should really have an open mind for Latin food of all over. Latin food is not only Mexican food, and especially if you want to eat healthy. I always say that one of the dividers, or one of the things that makes a distinction between all of us Hispanics is what color of beans we eat. Because we, per country, more or less have different colors that are our typical beans. And so, beans are a great source of food and a great source to add, protein to your food. And, especially if people are vegetarian, you could have a different type of bean done differently, every day of the week if you want. So
that's true.
I think
beans are protein and vegetables, which is great.
Exactly. So it's great for you.
So our listeners can actually pick up the ingredients that they need to cook your recipes at their local supermarkets, right?
Absolutely. There's, this book is called Latin D Lite, but I think that there's nothing too ethnic in there that someone cannot relate to. There's no foreign ingredients there. Everything that's in there is things that people can find at their supermarket. And I really think that it's a little bit modern food more than calling it only Latin. There's a lot of Asian-influenced foods in the book that comes from, some of our Peruvian roots mixed with Asian because of the communities. There's a lot of tropical food in there that has some Latin influence in it, but, recipes that I've created my own that really I call them modern. It's nothing, I'm not telling you go and make, this complete bizarre food. It's just using Latin ingredients in a modern way, more if I had to describe it best.
Let's talk a little bit about basic ingredients that every kitchen should have in a pantry. So you have listeners out there and listening to you speaking right now. What are some of the basic ingredients that everyone should have in their kitchen pantry?
Well, I think for starters, every type of bean. I prefer dried and canned, but I also have a pressure cooker, which has a name. Her name is Betty. She's my BFF, my best friend forever. I literally can come home and whip up dinner in 20 minutes with everything frozen, including dry beans. So, I'll put frozen fish, frozen meat, anything in my pressure cooker, bring it to pressure, and in 20 minutes, I'm having dinner. So going back to the pantry, I think the pantry should have everything that comes packed in oil because it's natural. So I have or vinegar base like olives, capers, things that can give food flavor in a few minutes. Obviously I keep sardines, tuna, all for like last minute, let's have something to eat and healthy. Then I think the freezer is super important, every frozen vegetable. And, I don't know why, but people sometimes tend to think that that canned vegetables are better. And frozen vegetables are picked at their height of maturity, at the proper ripeness. They are flash frozen, so they are probably sometimes fresher than what you're buying fresh in the aisle of fresh produce, because that's traveled quite a bit before it makes it to the supermarket. Yes.
Ingrid, before we run out of time, tell us a little bit about that Coca-Cola rice recipe. I think that's really unique and very, very different.
Coca-Cola recipe is a traditional recipe from the coast of Colombia, where I'm from, Barranquilla, and it's very typical to do it. And, it's fun. It's not a dessert. It's a savory dish. A lot of the sugar just gets absorbed, and, the flavor is a very little hint of sweet. For me, it's one of my indulgences, and that's why it makes it into a book that is healthy, because being healthy is that you're also not going to go crazy, and that twice a week you give yourself something that you really want. And so it's very simple. You make, rice and Coca-Cola, and you cook it as you normally would cook rice, and you have an incredibly delicious different side dish.
You don't need a soft drink to accompany it, then.
Yes, exactly. And, there's great side dishes like baked plantains that are super easy to do, much easier than if you were to man them, frying them. There is sweet potato mash that has mint and lime. I call it a mojito sweet potato. Yummy. So here you've got your sweet potato with tons of flavor and, a twist to it. And you're eating super healthy with great flavor, great side dish, nothing chemical in there. So, I think that people would definitely have a lot of fun, and the easiness of making all of these recipes with Latin D Lite, which, by the way, now is available nationwide as of this week. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, local bookstores. We have it both in English and Spanish. I'm also available on my Twitter, which I manage myself, believe it or not.
Oh,
and
wow.
I respond to a lot of people daily, and it's at Simply Ingrid, in case any of those that are listening would like to follow me, and if they have questions, and, I'm very grateful for the support.
Ingrid, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and we wish you much success with your book. And don't forget to watch Simply Delicioso on the Cooking Channel every Saturday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Pick up your copy, like Ingrid said, at any local bookstore or on Amazon. Ingrid, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you, and a big kiss and hug and peace for everyone listening.
Next, what would you do if you had a year to live? Listen to one woman's story when the Dr. A Show continues. Let me tell you about our Dr. A Show giveaway. As a thank you for listening to my show, we'll be giving away an iPod Nano at the end of this month. To enter, you simply need to log on to thedrashow.com and click on the Enter to Win button. Then like Dr. A on Facebook and enter your information. At the end of this month, we will pick a winner at random and announce that winner on the air. So keep listening to hear your name. There's no purchase necessary to win. So again, that website is thedrashow.com.